Hi, guys. Okay, this has started off with a bit of a giggle. On Sunday, this lunatic that I work with just turned it on and said, go for it, but didn't tell me that I was actually live. So I looked kind of goofy and acted goofier for the first little bit. And now he just suggested that I should be mining for gold, and then he would just turn the camera on, and he got me laughing, and now I can't stop. So,
you're welcome.
Hi, guys. Thanks for joining me today. It's been such a crazy couple of weeks. I've had live classes and then other commitments and then some business commitments that I've had to deal with. So I'm woefully behind. I don't have the pattern completed for the piece that we're doing today, but I will get that out this afternoon because it's just final tweaks and touches that have to be done. It's a fun piece. It's really simple. I thought we'd keep it really simple and sort of go through the whole design process right from start to finish, and I thought that might be interesting, and it could be a lot of fun, and you can also see a lot of mistakes that you don't expect. So bear with me, pardon the pun. We're going to switch things up. I'm sorry, don't look at me like that. We're going to switch things up a little bit. I do have giveaways, but instead of waiting a whole week to find out who's going to do it, we're actually going to draw during the live. And because I got Happy Mail yesterday, did you see? I got tons of brushes. Anywho, I always have tons of brushes because Dynasty's amazing. And so today we have a little bit of swag to give away with some mouse pads for TracyMoreau.com. And we have a bunch of brush sets. So I've got some faux squirrel brush sets to give away, and we have some stencils to give away. So there's going to be like 10 people getting prizes today.
Oh, wow.
So we have lots of goodies to give away today. And it's Christmas, so.
Sandy wants me to come over there and be her camera guy.
Oh, does she? Sorry, you're not going. You're
All right,
taken. And so I've decided to, in the course of doing this piece, we're just going to sort of wing it and show you what my design process is like, for better or for worse. So
Sandy wants Happy Mail.
Sandy wants Happy Mail. We'll stuff you in a box. It won't be to mail you. So we're going to do a fun little teddy bear. I called him Bertie Bear. I don't know if any of you know this, but I have collected teddy bears for probably close to 40 years, 50 years. Yeah, about that.
Yeah.
About 50 years. And I have somewhere in the neighborhood of 208 to 250 bears, somewhere in that ballpark. They're anything from little tiny 1 or 2 inch teddy bears to 3 and 4 foot stuffed ones. I even have some that are carved out of wood and some made out of glass. I have a fairly large collection. As I'm frequently reminded, there's a lot of bears, which also means I enjoy painting them. But Bertie Bear, the one we're doing today, I actually have this bear in my collection. I've had him for a very long time.
He's a Christmas bear.
Yeah, he's a Christmas bear. He's really, really cute. I've had him probably 30 or 40 years at this point. The Bertie Bear.
Is that the one you got in Germany?
Oh, no, he's older than that.
He's older than Germany?
Oh, yeah.
Older than Germany.
So, yeah. So I've had him quite a while. But he's one of those bears. He's old-timey. He's simple. There's no fancy elements to him. He just has black buttons for eyes, and his nose is sewn on. And he's just really cute and very festive and very plain. And I thought that he would make a great subject for this. So that is the reason that we are painting Bertie Bear today. So, what else did we want to talk about? Oh, yeah. Some of you that have placed orders and whatnot, you probably noticed there was one of these in your bag. And in that, attached to it is one of the stencils. These are just a little 3x3 snowflake stencils. We send them out with the orders just as a little thank you. We're going to show you what to do with this today. So that's another fun thing. And I also did an ornament of Bertie Bear. So we'll talk about him too, this little tag ornament for the tree. So how you can take that design onto another surface. So if you're ready to get your brushes dirty, so am I.
a little different from Let's Get Started.
Yeah, it's a little, yeah, your brush is dirty. So this is the line drawing that will be included in the pattern. It's just an outline of Bertie Bear with the candy cane. There's a cute little tag attached. And then I took that same little bear and I brought him down here and gave him a candy cane, a little candy heart, and then a candy, like a penny candy cane. So there's a variety of different designs in that. So this will be in your pattern. So when I'm designing something, I'm usually thinking about position, composition, how it's going to read. Now he's just a straight up and down bear, but when it comes to placement on a surface, I kind of like to cant him sideways a little bit so that he's not dead center in the piece and that he takes up a fair amount of space within it. And so that as you're looking at it, it sort of forces your eye to go over the whole surface. So that is the reasoning behind that. But before you get to all of this fun stuff, you have to create a background that's going to complement what it is that you're going to paint. So him being this rustic, cute, old-fashioned style teddy bear, I felt that it warranted a rustic, old-fashioned type background. So in this particular case, I used a 3/4 check stencil to do the background. And I also used that, my favorite barn board type finish. That's also what I used. Only we're not using white, we're using red. So I'm going to grab my red paint. I'm using tomato red. I usually use country red. Unfortunately, I emptied my last bottle of country red, so I am using my tomato red for this. I chose the country red and the tomato red because they're both quite opaque reds, and they have, they cover fairly well, and so they're going to go pretty well over top of this black. So I'm going to grab my fugly brush. I love this brush. They don't always look like this. They look more like this, but I do love my fugly brush. These are the Dynasty and Caustic. Let me show you what they look like when they're brand new.
Is Veronica going to yell at you? Or?
If I use that one might maybe. This is what I call my fugly brush. This is a Dynasty and Caustic. It's a 1-inch oval. This brush is a natural hair. It's not a synthetic. It's made out of hog bristle. It has a really great quality seamless ferrule. It's got a double crimp, and then it's on this plain wood handle. They're designed to be used with waxes, so the adhesive that they use in the ferrule is heat resistant so that they don't melt when you're working with hot wax. So that's the reason. However, just because it's made for encaustic doesn't mean that's the only thing you can use it for. So hence the fugly brush.
The natural hairs are ethically.
Yes, they are. Yeah.
We don't kill the animal for
Animals are not injured or killed to collect the hair for these. So I'm going to pick up some of that tomato red, and I'm going to work vertically. And I'm going to create a lot of vertical lines in this surface.
What size of background are you using?
This is an 8x10. It's just a little wood panel. You can get these at the dollar store.
It's MDF, isn't it?
This one's MDF. If you're really in a push for a surface to paint on, go to your local Home Depot store and get a piece of MDF and have them cut it down to size for you. I get it done all the time. They're really good about it.
I think I may try the buffalo check background.
Ooh. So I'm just applying it so it's not fully opaque. We're going to see some of that black peeking through. I just really like how this looks, especially when you've got a check on the background. It looks really fun. So I'm just going to smooth this out a little bit. You can see we still have lots of stria, lots of black showing through. This is just going to create a little bit of interest in the background behind that check. So I'm going to quickly dry this. Doesn't take very long to dry, not when you're using a heat gun. it's still a little wet in a couple of places, but we're going to talk about this stencil. So this one I'm using is a 6x6. It's a 3/4 inch check. You could probably go even smaller if you wanted to. This one is a 1/2 inch, but I would tend to use the 1/2 inch on the smaller surface. Like I use the buffalo check in this one, but something in this size would ideal for a smaller surface. If you're working this tiny on a big surface, then it gets very busy very quickly. So I think I'll stick to my 3/4, but I'm gonna have to dry that edge or I'll have red paint everywhere. Story of my life, watching paint dry. There we go.
Rosina Hartman says hi from Scotland.
From Scotland. Welcome, Rosina. Glad to have you join us. Okay, so I have, this is dry enough, I guess. So I have a 3/4 inch stencil, and I'm going to do what I always tell people. So I'm going to
Kathy Villa.
draw that off the edge a little bit, take it off the surface a little bit. There. Now I'm going to use lamp black for this part. I'm just going to stencil a check on here. Now the fun part about doing this sort of distressed background is that I don't have to really worry too much about how neat and tidy it is or how perfect the squares are, because they don't need to be. So I'm going to stencil. I'm only going to pass over this once, but I'm going to change directions frequently. It helps give you a more even distribution of the color. And I'm not pushing hard, it's a light touch working over this. But if you find that they're not looking fully opaque, that's okay. We're not really looking for perfection because we're going to sand through these anyhow. So, okay, that looks good enough. I'm liking it.
She's still waiting for her scribble stencil.
So there we are. Now I'm going to move this and line it up. I think I better do it this way. Line it up like so. And I'm going to repeat this.
So it's left on the 30th.
There we go. Now I'm going to cover this whole background with this check stamp, but I'm not going to worry too much about them being perfect. I want them to look a little bit distressed. If they're absolutely perfectly opaque, then it's going to be harder to distress them in the end. So,
what is the name of the stencil brush you're using?
the stencil brush I'm using is a Dynasty Stencil Pro. Now this is a synthetic stencil brush, so it's a little more forgiving than the traditional stencil brushes. And by that I mean that you can get away with a lot more with these than you can with the natural hair, meaning that I can do some pretty unorthodox things to clean and maintain them. And this is one of the things that I use. So for cleaning a synthetic, you don't have to worry about drying out the bristles so much. So I use a little bit of hand sanitizer spray to remove paint, so that, particularly if I want to change colors, because the alcohol evaporates and I can use my brush right away. So that's one of the benefits to having a synthetic stencil brush. The other benefit is that you get this natural flag on the, a synthetic flag on the end, which is the fine point, and it's very consistent on a synthetic bristle. So you get a very smooth application of color. That's one of the benefits to working with a synthetic as opposed to a natural hair. Da, Da-da-da-da.
I want to go play with the puppy. Rough her up a bit.
So we're almost there. Just a little bit more to do. Now the fun part about stenciling a background is that it leaves you with a great deal of flexibility. Now, if I wanted them fully opaque, I could certainly take the time and the effort to make sure that every single square was perfectly opaque. Or I can move along and create something interesting by making sure that these checks are not absolutely perfect. If they've got a little bit of character, that's a good thing too. So something that looks really interesting is when your pattern is perhaps not complete. And I'll show you that in just a second. So you can use a stencil to create the image, but then if you let the paint run out, it gives you an interesting effect. It almost looks as if it's worn out or if it just fades out to nothing. Let me see if I can show you that clearer. So you see this here where it's incomplete. Or I can come back and fill it all in. So there's a number of different ways that you can manipulate a stencil to create some really cool effects. If you wanted to use multiple colors in this, you certainly could. If I wanted to bring in a little more of that red, or perhaps I wanted to add a little bit of gold, I could do that too. You just don't move your stencil until you're happy with what you've got. So I'm just about finished with this part. There we go. So I've got nice checks everywhere, but if you have a close look, some of them are a little faded in the center, some are a little more opaque. So now I'm going to distress this a little bit. But before I do, I'm going to show you something really quick. I'm going to show you how to clean this stencil brush just using a little bit of hand sanitizer. So I'm going to move that out of the way. I've got some shop towel, and there is my dirty stencil brush. I'm going to put a little hand sanitizer in the palm of my hand, and I'm going to rub that stencil brush into it. And then I'm going to rub the stencil brush on the surface. A little more sanitizer. You notice I'm working in a circular fashion. It works that sanitizer into the brush. You can see there's a lot in there. But then you can blot that stencil brush on your surface like so, and it gradually pulls that color out. You can see that brush is getting... If it's being stubborn, spray a little directly into the brush. Let it sit for a second, and then scrub away. And that will take the bulk of the color out of that stencil brush, and then you'll be able to use it because the alcohol will evaporate. And you'll be able to go right back and switch over to your next color.
Can you drop a shadow with these?
Can you drop a shadow with a stencil? Yes, you can.
Yeah, you just offset the stencil, right?
Just to offset the stencil. Yeah. So if you want to put a drop shadow in, you start with a lighter, darker color, and then offset your stencil just slightly.
Not just a hat rack.
Yeah. Just offset it slightly, and then you'll be able to create an interesting shadow. So now our stencil brush is clean. It will be dry in about 2 shakes of lamb's tail. So that looks pretty good. Now we're going to wear back through some of those checks and on the edges. Now remember that I worked horizontally or vertically with those stria, those lines that are in the background, and I don't want to work against that. So any sanding that I do is going to be done following that direction, just like following the grain of the wood.
Oh, there's Karen.
So now I'm going to lightly sand. I'm just using a sanding disc for this. I like these because they're easily controlled. So I'm just sanding back just a little bit. I want to wear through some of those checks. Just makes them more interesting.
Karen says, good afternoon.
We are sitting here waiting for a snowstorm. Not unusual on the East Coast. So I'm going to be a little more aggressive with this because I want to wear through those checks. I want them to take on a really old look.
Well, thank you, Linda.
Just sand through.
Linda just answered a question for Susan.
Oh.
Do you sell these pencil brushes and where can I purchase them?
Yep.
Yep.
Yep, we do have them on the website.
Here, I'll pop it up for you.
So now I'm going to, this has created a fair amount of dust.
And yeah, blow it towards me and the equipment.
So I'm going to wipe this off like so. And so we've created a nice distressed look on this. You can see that those checks are softly worn through. I rather like that. I don't know what I did there. I'm going to wipe this back with a little
We got
water.
a snowstorm in Sudbury right now.
Sudbury, Ontario, yes. It's December. And they're in the nickel belt.
You can have your snow. We don't get snow here in Louisiana unless it's dusty. Yeah. Dusting. Ooh.
There, so now I've got this nicely distressed background. I love how this looks. It's very soft and rustic looking. And now we're going to age this a little bit. And the color I'm going to use to age this is soft black. Now the reason I'm using, well, I might be using soft black if there's any left in this bottle. I have to tap the table.
There it goes. Not enough though.
Oh, we'll make it do.
Do you have any soft black in here?
I don't think so.
Definitely not in there.
Like most of you, I am gradually running out of certain colors. I've been doing a lot of painting.
Oh.
So
Where do you keep your soft black?
it should be on that shelf over there.
Over here.
Yep. So I'm going to add a little bit of Joe Sonia's to this, just to, I don't think I have enough in this paint bottle. What's on the,
Oh, a little looky there.
oh, you found one?
I found a bottle of soft
You
black.
found his bottle of soft black. Because this one is seriously on its last legs. Okay. Yay! The bottle of soft black, yeah.
More. Oops, what's that? Ah. I'm working on decoupage background and wondered if I should have put Mod Podge on before painting.
Are you using Mod Podge or are you using Decor's Decoupage? The Mod Podge tends to dry a little slick. And so I tend to lean towards something with more of a matte finish, and so I use the Decor's Decoupage matte. And then I find I have no issue painting over top of it. But if it has any kind of a shine to it, I find it's really difficult to paint over. So I'm using, I know Veronica's not going to be happy about this, but I'm using my high-tech applicator. This is just 2 pieces of shop towel, one tucked into the other. And I'm going to age the edges of this with a little soft black just by rubbing the color around the outside edge, like so. Now the reason I use the soft black instead of black is because the soft black has a red tone to it. And it's a little more opaque than black. And so I get a very soft, nice warm transition. It's ideal for working over top of reds. So it doesn't kill the black, doesn't flatten it out, but it ages things beautifully and it keeps the red looking nice and rich.
I had to translate this from Portuguese.
Okay. Oh, wow.
A hug from Brazil.
Aw, well, a hug back to Brazil. So that soft black, I know it's still shiny because it's still wet, but the soft black gives you a nice soft aged look around the outside edge. And you can put it on in layers so they get more and more depth out of it. But if you painted anything in mine, you know I always seem to put a really rich, dark, warm edge.
I wonder if your phone's getting full. Uh-oh.
Are we having a problem? Okay, so we've got a nice dark edge. I just put a line on there. I want to blend that out. And I've left the center portion of this panel that brighter red, so it gives us a nice warm place to put our teddy bear. So that we don't have, it's not completely dark. We get this nice sort of a halo effect around our bear, and that's what we're looking for. So I'm going to dry this real quick. We'll get rid of all of that shininess so that you can see clearly what kind of an effect this has. So you can see that we've got that nice, lighter tone in the middle here. And then we've got this nice soft gradient of black towards the outside edge. So that is our background for this teddy bear. So once you've gotten to this point, you're going to trace and transfer your line drawings onto the surface. And then base coating begins. But one of the first things that I do once I have my line drawings in place, before I start base coating, I take my soft black and I shade all the way around my teddy bear with a nice float of soft black. And what that does is it creates that halo. We've got that dark line towards the outside edge and then a darker shadow around the bear. And then we have this lighter tone in here. And this sort of supports and draws attention towards the bear. Now the base coating is very simple. In this case, I've used honey brown, my one and only bottle of honey brown, and it's an old one. I like this brown for things like this because it's nice and warm. It's very opaque. It has a little yellow tone to it, so it stays nice and sunny. And then we can shade it with, you guessed it, my favorite, asphaltum. Because this is yellow-based brown, it's going to work very well with this honey brown. Then we have the candy cane, which is based with warm white, which is my go-to white. I use this for everything. I very rarely use titanium white, but I use this. I use that warm white for things like these tags and for the candy cane. Now, because I've used that tomato red in the background, that's the same red we're going to use to paint our candy cane. But before we start that, where's it? There it is. Okay, so we're going to use that tomato red for the candy cane. And then we're going to use a really unusual color for the candy cane. I'm going to use cobalt teal hue. And that will be our shading color for this candy cane. So, I think we're just about ready to get started on this little guy. I don't use a ton of brushes for this. I am an angle person. I do like my angled shaders. So we're going to use a 1/2 inch black gold for some small areas, I'm going to use, I have a 3/8 here somewhere, or 5/8, but I'm going to use a 5/8. And I'm also going to use a 1/4 inch as well. So those are the 3 main brushes that we're going to use. Then I am going to use, for the detailing, obviously I'm going to need a good liner. And in this case, I'm using a 10-aught extra long detail liner from Micron. This is a Dynasty Micron. And that's pretty much it, except we need something to do the fur on this little guy. And I'm thinking I'm going to use, I'm not going to use the rake. What am I going to use? I should use, oh.
What's the first one you're giving away? What are you giving away?
Oh, the first thing I'm giving away today?
Yeah.
Let's do a set of these.
Okay, so it's, oh man, I cannot pronounce that. Bevsiliski?
Bev's, I can't see it from here.
Sisileski.
Sisileski.
There you go.
Okay, so Bev, you're the winner of this 4-piece brush set from Dynasty. They are the wave angles and the wave flat. That is your prize today. So I'm going to hand that to him. He's going to put your name on that set, and then you send us a message with your shipping information, and we will give it to you.
I'm dealing with already got it.
Excellent. So, I'm debating. Let's use the Mezzaluna. I got these yesterday. These are awesome. I have a set of these, but Miss Veronica felt that I needed more. So I have some Dynasty Mezzaluna. This is what I'm going to use today. I'm not sure which size yet. But yeah, we're going to use a Mezzaluna. And then, of course, the 1/2 inch angle, a 5/8 angle, or 3/8 angle, and a 1/4 inch angle, and a 10-aught liner. That's what I'm going to use today to paint this little guy. So we're going to start with some basic shading on this one. I'm going to use that 3/8 because I want to do all these little tight areas first. And the color I'm using is Asphaltum. I know. Surprise, surprise.
What stencil did you use for the teddy bear? It's not a stencil.
The teddy bear is not a stencil. It's actually a line drawing. And this one will be enclosed in the pattern, so. And of course, anybody that orders off of the website, especially between now and Christmas, there's going to be one of these snowflake stencils in there. And then we have a plan for a new one after the new year. So every time an order goes out, we try to put a stencil in it. So I'm just going to shade under his cute little paws here with a little Asphaltum. And then there's that little space between his paw and the candy cane. I'm going to put a shadow there. And under his neck. My floating method relies heavily on the loading process when it comes to floating, and I don't worry too much. I do a lot of pity patting and blending and going back over where I was, but I'll show you how I load my brush. See if we can get Renee to get in a little closer if possible. I'm going to show them how I load my brush.
There you go.
So when it comes to loading an angle or a flat, I pick up a small quantity just on the corner or the toe of the brush in this case. And then I blend back and forth. You have to have paint in both sides of the brush, not just one. I see a lot of people doing this, but that only loads paint and distributes paint on one side. You need to load the whole brush. And then while you're doing that, you have to push into the blend. And what that means is that you're going to push towards the darker value, meaning that you work the brush into that dark load and then you work back. And what you end up with is a nice gradient of color in your brush. And then the trick is to have the entire flat of the brush, that whole chisel edge of that brush has to be on your surface so that you get a nice transition and a nice gradient of color.
What's the bristle on the Mezzaluna brushes?
The bristle on the Mezzaluna is actually a blend. It's a combination of both synthetic and natural hair. So there, I've got a little shadow in there. I'm going to do the inside of his ears as well. I'm not looking for perfection on these shadows. What I am looking for is just to create the shapes, to develop those shapes. So if there's a curve in the ear, there it is. I'm going to come down here.
No, it's so cute. Hello from Spain.
Hello from Spain.
What was it? We were in Barcelona when I was like itty bitty?
Yep. We were in Malaga.
Malaga.
Yep.
What are the media fluid acrylics and what are they used for? Everything.
Media fluid acrylic can be used for almost anything. You can use it as an ink, you can use it as a watercolor, or you can use it as an acrylic paint. They are highly pigmented. The downside to them, and not really a downside, I shouldn't say it's a downside, but the unique thing about them is that for the most part, they are either transparent or semi-transparent. And so often require a gesso or an undercoat of some sort, depending on what technique you're using.
What is the surface that your paint's on? It is palette paper.
It is just palette paper. It's Strathmore.
Strathmore palette paper.
Yep. You can find it almost anywhere. They have it at Michael's.
How much water is in your brush? Enough.
Enough. That's
sarcasm. Don't take that to heart, please.
When it comes to loading your brush, there's a couple of tricks. And getting that balance of water is one of the toughest things to adapt to.
Here's your sponge.
Even though I've been painting for years, I still will end up with far too much water in my brush. And there's a couple of ways that you can make that a little bit easier. One that we're often taught is to use paper towel to blot the surface. For myself, I've always found that it ended up taking more moisture out than I wanted. And so a lot of the time I will turn to using a cellulose sponge. Renee's gone to get my sponge, so I'll show you how I use it. And the reason I use a moist sponge is because it has moisture in it, but still will draw moisture off of the brush.
Is that too much?
No, it's, oh yeah, it is actually. Gotta wring it right out. So, but it leaves enough moisture in the sponge, but still allows it to draw some moisture off of your brush, but it doesn't pull too much. Perfect. So when I load my brush full of water, I'll touch it to the surface of the sponge, and then I will go back and load my brush. And I found that I'm able to keep a consistent amount of water in my brush by using the wet sponge method as opposed to using the paper towel. It's just always worked for me, and it's one that I've shown my students over the years, and it does work very well.
Where can you get the palette paper? Michael's.
Michael's carries the Strathmore palette paper. It's available almost anywhere. I know Hobby Lobby carries it. Most art supply stores carry it. It is good for both acrylic and oils. It's a good quality one. One of my favorites that I've had a great deal of difficulty getting recently is the Gray Matters palette. I really do love that one. And the brush guys usually carry it. Michaels does not, but Hobby Lobby does. It's an excellent palette paper, but it has been very difficult to get lately, mainly because of the same issues we're having with everything else. So we're just about there. I've just about got all my shadows in place. And I'm just placing them. I'm not worrying too much about getting them perfect. I just want placement. That's my biggest concern at this juncture. Is just placement. Got one more under his belly. Right here.
What is that sound?
I don't know.
Something's humming.
And a little shadow underneath here.
Stockade does too. Stockade's pretty good.
Yes, if you're in Canada and looking for art and craft and painting supplies, stockade.ca, they are fantastic. They have great service, they have great products, and a really great selection. And if you live in the area, although the retail store is closed, you can place an order and then pick it up.
My focus is pulling off the bottles and on the palette.
So, there we go. I've got my shadows in place. Now, I want to get some red stripes onto those candy canes. I'm going to do that. I've got a nice big black gold round. And when it comes to these stripes, again, I'm not too picky. I'm just going to sort of stroke them in
Hobby Lobby.
wherever I want.
Hobby Lobby.
Hobby Lobby.
This is how about where in the U.S.? Hobby Lobby.
Hobby Lobby.
Yep.
I do like my Gray Matters palette. I know the brush guys carry it. I don't know if they have any in
Get
stock.
Paper pattern available.
Yes, there will. They will be available as soon as we get it up on the site.
Somebody just sent you an invitation to join our room. That's nice. We're busy. Sorry, but we're busy.
So I'm just painting in my stripes. You can use the stripe on the pattern. I'm not going to transfer anything on. I'm just going to paint them in freehand. Probably shouldn't.
If you're in Sudbury, go to Wendy's Way.
Yes, Miss Wendy Fahey.
There you go.
Lovely lady. Very talented, crazy talented. She has some beautiful designs.
Our Hobby Lobby is stripped pretty much of painting things.
Yes, I like most art and craft stores these days. Supplies are very limited. I have tons here. I think that's an understatement.
You have a Hobby Lobby.
I have a Hobby Lobby, apparently. That's my family tells me. No need to go to one. I have one. And I found myself, and friends have been, emailing it. Do you have? So, if you've got friends that are looking for stuff and you have some, please share. I've been sending paint out to a couple of friends because they were hard pressed for a couple of colors, and I just happened to have them. So, if you're helping each other out, that's fantastic. I know I found myself short of asphaltum, and a friend sent me 3 bottles, which I thought was super and appreciated.
Well, that's like your signature color. You need your asphaltum.
Well, it's like glitter. Like, who doesn't have glitter? How can you not have glitter?
Me.
Yeah, but you don't paint.
I don't like glitter.
I know. I'm going to put a ton of it in your stocking for Christmas this year.
You already got it all over my dog. That's bad enough.
So I'm just going to quickly paint these in. I kind of like that these are not perfect. I am partial to things that are imperfect. Just
No.
makes things more interesting.
I think we have somebody either just saying hi from Swiss. I don't know if they're from Switzerland or
Schweiz?
Switzerland.
Switzerland, yes, that's Switzerland.
Or is it like hi from Swiss, Texas?
No.
I don't know.
I don't know if there is a Switzerland, Texas, but
Well, not Switzerland, Texas. You should just put Swiss.
oh,
That's WISS.
well, that's actually when you see it written in German, it's Schweiz. Schweiz.
Schweiz, yeah.
Yeah, so it would be Swiss. So there we have a candy cane. I'm going to dry this really quick.
Sorry to hear that, Sue.
Where's Sue?
Sue, my internet is unstable, so I will watch later.
So there, we have a candy cane. Clean him up a little bit. He was a little wonky. There we go. So we have a candy cane. I'm going to dry this real quick. So we're gonna. Renee's having fun over there because he's the one that's, doing the random selector thing and pulling out names and whatnot for prizes. So the next winner is going to get one of these. It's a prototype of our 1-inch buffalo check stencil. It's a nice big one. It's an 8.5 by 11. So someone is going to win that.
Christine Perras.
Christine Perras. You are the winner of that. So Renee's probably going to message you if he hasn't already.
No, I haven't yet.
Requesting your shipping information. So this little guy is starting to take shape.
Thank you.
We've got a candy cane in place. So now we have to shade that candy cane. There's a reason behind this. This candy cane is tucked in behind his paws. If I start doing all of the texturing and the layering on his paws, we're going to mess up the candy cane. So let's do the candy cane first. So I'm going to use a little bit of cobalt teal hue, which is in the fluid acrylic. If you don't have the fluid acrylic, you can use Laguna, or you can use Bahama Blue. You just need a sort of turquoisey color to do this. So I'm going to get that ready to float. And I'm going to shade down the back side of this candy cane. Just like so. And in here, and then I'm going to do the same thing under the paws. I'm trying to stay in the shot. He's always giving me gears because I'm sliding the thing towards me and it ends up out of the shot. And then underneath his paw, I'm going to put another float, like so. Just to shade out our candy cane. And then I'm going to shade on the inside of that curve and along the bottom, like so. So we have a nice shadow on that. I'm going to give that a second to dry. And then we're going to shade over top of that blue with a float of asphaltum. Now I'm blending this asphaltum out quite a bit because I don't want it full strength. I don't want it to be too dark, because if it is, it's going to bury all of that blue that we just worked so hard to get on there. So I'm just going to float right over top of that.
How do we get in for the draw for prizes? Easy. Watch.
You just have to be in the room watching, that's all.
Yeah, it could be you, it might not be you. Who knows? It's a roll of the dice.
Yeah. Renee's got a random generator over there, and it gives him a number, and then he counts through to see who's who. And
It's
but
random.
we have lots of prizes, so stick around.
How many more? Oh, you got tons more.
I got tons more. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh yeah, we got lots more.
Might have to do a rapid fire.
Yep, we might.
What are we on? Oh, you're almost on.
On to an hour.
So I'm going to pull a little of that blue in here and shade in behind that paw. And then I'm going to let it dry, and then I'm going to put a nice shadow of that asphaltum over top of it. I just wanted to deepen it so it looks like it's in behind his paws. I love these little guys. So this type of thing is fun to paint. And in the end, when it's all is said and done, they're always so cute. Now I'm going to put a float of asphaltum in here. Because the shadow is going to be fairly dark, you can repeat it several times until you get the depth that you're looking for. It doesn't hurt it to go over it again. And the same under here. I want this one a little bit darker, so I'm just going to put another float of that asphaltum over everything. And you'll notice as I'm going, that area here remains nice and bright. So now we're going to put a highlight on our candy cane. I'm going to do that with warm white. And I'm going to blend it out fairly well. I don't want it too full strength, but I do need it to be fairly bright. Now I'm going to come in from the edge just a little. In this case, it's going to be about 1/8 of an inch. And I'm going to float right over the white, right over the red. And then I'm going to let it run out. And then that same highlight is going to come on the inside edge, like so. Again, about 1/8 of an inch in from the edge. And then I'm going to let it run out. Now I'm going to grab my liner brush and I'm going to pick up some warm white. Now this is full strength. I want that white full strength for this part. And right at the edge of that highlight, I'm going to put a line of warm white and do the same thing.
Is this recorded? My computer, for some reason, decided to reboot.
It is being recorded.
So you can see I've put that highlight directly on the edge of that float all the way down. And I'm going to repeat that on this portion down here. Right here. Again, about 1/8 of an inch in from the edge of the candy cane. Oops. And then on that edge of that float, full strength, fine line of warm white. There's our candy cane. So now we're going to start working on layering and making him a little softer. And I'm going to use, I'm going to use the large mezzaluna, which is this one right here. I like these. They're a little bit stiff, a little bit soft. They're just an ideal. And essentially I'm going to do a dry brush. I want to open this brush up a little bit. And I'm going to use warm white and honey brown combined. I don't know what I have for a color here that will give that to me. I have antique white. What do you think? Antique white? We'll try it. This one's been sitting a while. I'll give it a good shake. Get a little bit of antique white on there. If I don't like it, I'll switch and I'll go over to a mix. So I picked up a little bit of that antique white on my Mezzaluna. I'm just going to blot it a little bit. And I want to create sort of a fluffy look. But I don't want it to be hairy looking, if that makes any sense at all. So I'm using a light touch. I just want this to have sort of a sketchy look, just to soften him a little bit. We can make shadows darker. Ooh, I like that. So there, we're just gonna.
Later was here. From, it looks like American Eagle.
Oops. Wasn't supposed to be here till Monday.
Well, it's here now.
Okay.
Okay, what did I miss?
Pure Later and UPS and all that, they're all working overtime trying to get stuff delivered for the holidays. It's crazy.
That looks real. I'm sorry, what color was the highlight done with?
The highlight color that I'm using is antique white.
Antique white.
And I'm kind of letting that brush, have a little of its own way. It gives him a little hairy look, but he's a little fuzzy at the same time, which I kind of like.
Be painting these on stamp cutouts.
Ooh, that'd be cute.
What size is your liner?
Mine is a 10-aught. It's an extra long script. So if you notice the way I'm putting this color on, I'm sort of following the shape of his arm or paw. And I'm letting that paint come off the edge. It kind of gives him a fuzzy look. This is a fun brush for this.
Ah. Wow, I'm impressed. This is my first time watching it, and I'm amazed. Beautiful.
I'm amazed too that this is working out. I'm always amazed when they work out. It's like, wow, I did that.
No Sasquatch look.
No Sasquatch look, no.
No, we don't want this.
I do like that this has sort of a dry brushed appearance, but I also like that it kind of gives you, a slightly fuzzy look. If you take it off of the edge, just slightly.
That blue float is surprising, but oh so very effective. Yeah, yes it is. Is that brush like a lunar blender?
It is. It's a Luna blender was made by Low Cornell, and like the Crescent blender. There was a number of different names for it depending on the manufacturer. But it was always made with a combination of hairs in order to give you that, sort of stiff and yet soft effect. And so when Dynasty made this one, the Mezzaluna, it has this really great stiffness to it, but it's also soft at the same time. So it can be used for dry brushing, or in this case, I'm using it to create, a little bit of fuzzy hair. And it works very well. And I like that I can, you don't have to work too hard to get this effect. He's,
The candy cane looks 3D. I hope so.
So yes, he's looking a little distressed and a little fuzzy, and I rather like him. The nice part is that if my shadows become a little too downplayed, if they get buried and under all of this dry brush effect, then I can simply go back in with another float of asphaltum. I do love my asphaltum, as everybody knows. But I really wanted this sort of fluffy, fuzzy belly on this guy. It is a fun brush to work with, and it's simple. This is a simple technique to make a fuzzy looking bear. And he's oh so cute. Now I'm going to do something when I'm done with this to sort of accentuate that fuzziness and to define him a little bit. And I'm going to do that with a liner brush. But I do like my fuzzy bears.
What kind of brush is that again? It's a Mezzaluna, isn't it?
This is the Mezzaluna. This is a large Mezzaluna. Get a bit more. There it goes. Now I'm going to come up onto his face. And then we're going to talk about shading his eyeballs because I haven't done anything with his eyeballs yet.
It happens every time. I get so wrapped up in watching and my coffee goes cold. Yeah, it happens.
So I'm working around his eyeballs. I don't want to get too close to his eyes because I'm going to do something with his eyes to make them look like they're sitting up so that they're button-like. Oopsie. A little too. Oh, I like it. I like it when the bears take on that.
I got two winners for you.
Oh, two winners.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's give away. Oh, how about a mouse pad? What are we going to do mouse pad this time?
Yeah.
There we go. Look at this. We got a fun mouse pad for you.
Did you hold it the right way up?
Probably not. Just like, okay. We have a fun mouse pad for you. And who is it going to?
Sherian Fisher?
Right on. Awesome sauce.
And the comment she had was, where is it? Where's the comment? Crap, I had it. Where'd she go?
You lost her? How do you
I
lose
lost her. I
somebody?
was about to message her too. Crap.
So
Where'd
I'm
you go,
going
Sherian
to,
Fisher?
now I got to do these ears, but I think I'm going to switch to a smaller Mezzaluna because they have a couple of smaller ones that are really nice. This one is the medium.
She is the one that says, "Wow, I'm impressed. This is my first time watching and amazed and
Oh, cool.
beautiful." Well, we need your shipping address if you want a mouse pad.
So I'm just dry brushing on a little bit more around the face and the muzzle, and then we're going to highlight this a little bit. I'm going to pick up a little bit of warm white because I want to accentuate one side of his head more than the other. So I'm just going to do this with a little bit of warm white. And I'm going to do his ears. I want his ears to be a little fluffier. So I'm just putting a little bit on the outside edge of his ears like so. And I'm going to do the same thing to the other ear. I like these brushes that they go over, that I don't have to worry too much about the control of them. And it gives a fuzzy look to his ears. Now I'm going to show you something. You can take that Mezzaluna and open it up just by pressing down. And it will give you some finer hairs that you can play with. And now we're going to do that same highlight on this arm here. I just switched to a little bit of warm white.
Sharing pictures, thank you so much. I needed a new one. Right on. Just need your shipping info.
And I'm going to put another highlight on the front of his paw right here. This is just dry. I'm just dry brushing at this point.
Oh, yeah, I said I had a second one for you, too.
Mm-hmm.
And that is Bonnie Duncan. What is Bonnie Duncan getting?
Bonnie is going to take home a set of those faux squirrel wave
There you go.
angles.
Oh, great. That. Yoink.
Now, we do have probably a couple more lives before the Christmas holiday.
2.
2 more lives. So, the last one, we're going to be giving away quite a bit in the next 2 lives. But on that last one, we have some really nice prizes, so don't forget to watch. We have some great stuff.
Bonnie Duncan won. What are these? Bush squirrel
Waves.
angled waves?
So where else do I need a highlight on this guy? I need it down here on this leg. So I'm going to take that warm white onto this leg right here.
All you gotta do is message us with your shipping information and we'll get it sent out to you hopefully before the deadline?
Yeah,
No.
everything's going out Monday.
No, the deadline was the 12th. And today
Okay.
is the 12th, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so everything will go out Monday.
So you might not get it for Christmas.
You might not get it for Christmas, but we're hoping things are getting there as quickly as we can get them there. So I'm just going to brighten a few highlights in a few places, like this paw right here and down here on this guy, a little bit here because he needs some there, and on his bidden.
Hopefully Bonnie Duncan caught that she won, but her computer keeps rebooting on her.
Oh no.
From the looks of it. How do you load your brush to get the hair strokes?
The hair strokes, I'm literally press the brush down on its ferrule like this. It's probably a mean and nasty thing to do to a brush, but it opens up the hair so that when you pick it up, it picks it up just on some of those finer ones so that you get this. So that when you dry brush, you get these finer, fluffy lines. Oopsie, a little too much paint there, but that's okay.
Yay, but Bonnie Duncan got.
She's back.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I'm almost done with this dry brushing. I just want to make sure some of these highlights are nice and bright.
I need to order some Mezzaluna brushes and check stencils. You make it look so easy.
It is. You just don't worry too much about it. You got to remember, he's fluffy. But we're not looking for perfection on this little guy. We're just looking for fluff.
Alright, got a message. Bonnie.
So there we go. So now, remember I said we're going to do a few little details to make him really pop out. And I'm going to use that antique white and a liner brush. And I'm going to come onto that area and I'm going to add a few stronger hairs to the outside edge with that liner. Just to give him a more defined shape. Because at this point he looks nice and fluffy, but we want him to have a little more definition. So I'm just going to pull a few little hairs at the edges, like so. And they're not strong. These colors are fairly weak, but we need to have them there. And because I'm using that antique white which is the initial color that we used for the hair, it doesn't look so harsh. It's not so hard edged, and it sort of falls into place. And that's what helps us give that little guy a little more fluff. And I like it particularly at his belly. Gives his belly a little more fluff. And it helps define his shape overall without using too strong a color. So I really like that.
His eyes look sunken in.
And they will for a little bit.
I'm just looking at the.
He just looks half starved at this point.
Yeah, it looks like he's hungry.
Yep.
Eat
And
the
so-
candy cane, man.
Yep.
Can't wait to paint this guy soon, real soon. I have the studio finished so I can paint. Oh, that's right too. Karen's at
Yeah.
the Joneses are in the new house now, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
Nice. Right on.
Just
She's
in
got a
time for
studio
Christmas.
now?
She's got a studio. Yeah.
Right on.
So you can see what a difference that little bit of fine line work at the edges just helps define him a little bit, and it softens him even further. And then just for fun, we're going to come into his ears right here and do the same thing. Just that little soft line. Nothing too harsh. It's not a hard line. See, that one's a little too hard. Just like so. So now I think we're just about ready. I'm going to finish out a few little strokes here. Just about ready to start adding some of these details to this little guy. And finish him out because he won't take long. So now we've got a nice fuzzy little bear and his eyes looks like they're kind of sunk in. So we're going to shade his eyes a little bit. And we're going to shade them on one side only. And I'm going to do that with a 5/8.
Do you sell the Metsaluna brushes? No.
I do not, but they are available at thebrushguys.com. And if you use the coupon code Tracy M, you'll get a little extra discount. So I'm going to shade the eyes on the left side with a float of asphaltum. And that float is going to go from the bottom center of the eye around to the top center of the eye. And it can be quite strong, like so. I'm going to do the same thing on this eye. Now, if you've painted my gingerbread, you've seen me doing this before, but I like this for the teddy bear as well.
We got another one.
And I'm going to do the same thing for his nose. I'm going to put a shadow on the left side of his nose, from the bottom point of the nose up to the top edge.
The next winner
Another winner.
said, I love the little bear. I have a collection of Boyd's bears.
Oh, I have some Boyds too. So,
And that is Linda Frick.
Linda Frick, you get one of our stencil, the buffalo check, the 1-inch buffalo check prototype stencils, big 8.5 by 11.
There you go.
So we've got fur in place. I've put the shadow on both eyes. So now we have to highlight those eyes so that they show up, so that they lift up. And we're going to do that with a float of warm white. Now, the float is going to be blended out well because you don't want this full strength. It'll be too opaque. And a float is going on the eye, but it's coming in just shy of the edge. I don't want this to go right to the edge. And I'm going to start where that shadow starts and stop where that shadow ends. It is a weak float of thinned warm white.
Boom. There. Sent the message off to Linda Frick.
So now we have our highlight in place.
Technically, she's getting 2 stencils.
And we're going to put a float on the nose as well.
Ooh, bunch of messages now.
So there we have eyeballs. And of course, to make this little guy come to life,
There. Oh, that's my job. That's a great question.
what?
Crap, where'd I put it?
Somebody had a question that got
Where
him
can
all
I
excited.
Find more of your lessons on the YouTubes.
On my YouTube channel.
Boom. There it is.
So we're going to make his eyes pop. And we're going to do that with a dot of white, and it has to be on that highlight, like so.
Love the fur.
And then we're going to do the same thing to his nose. He needs just a little stroke on his nose.
Brush guys have been out of stock on the micron liners for a while now.
Yeah. So I want to give this bear a little attitude.
You gonna put a cigarette in his mouth?
No. I'm going to
him
give
a
him
mom
an
tattoo.
a mom tattoo. I'm going to give him eyebrows. Just 2 little ones. I kind of want him to look a little sad.
What color were the eyes based in?
The eyes are based with lamp black.
Lamp black.
Now I'm going to give him a mouth, just slightly. And it's sort of an inverted Y, like so.
Oh, then the frick, don't put it in. Okay. Thank you, but
So we've got our eyeballs. Isn't he cute? I think he's so cute.
give him a cigarette.
Give him a cigarette. No smoking. This is a non-smoking house.
Well, not anymore. I quit. I don't smoke anymore.
So now we've got a string that goes to our little tag here, and I'm going to take some thinned warm white, and I'm going to come down just under his
I'll have
arm.
to remove that comment once I get the information. I want her information out there.
So I'm going to make this into baker's twine, and I'm going to do that by putting a little line of the same red that we used on the candy cane right over that thin line of white. Little diagonal stripes, kind of like the candy cane. But this is just going to turn this little string into baker's twine.
I'm seeing a lot of people saying do the mom tattoo.
Do the mom tattoo.
I'm kidding. No one's saying it. Gonna try and get you to do it.
I could do it.
Just the little heart
With mom?
with mom on the banner. That'd be nice.
So I'm going to, we've got a little shadow underneath this tag here. I'm going to deepen it just a little bit because I want this to be over top of the fur. And that shadow starts just shy of this corner, just a little bit down, about 1/8 of an inch. And it comes along, and then I stop shy of the corner on another 1/8 of an inch, but this way. And what it does is it gives you the illusion that that tag is sort of floating over the surface.
Glitter him.
He will be glittered.
No.
So we're going to shade this tag. Now I like to take that asphaltum and shade.
Liner and brand name, please. I'm going to have to get one.
The liner is a Dynasty Micron. It's a 10-aught extra long detail liner. And if you can't find them at the brush guys, try Maureen-Baker.com. Maureen has a nice selection of Dynasty brushes, and she also has them at a great price, so check her out. She's also got a great selection of Americana paints and the fluid acrylics, so if you're really struggling to find them, she's a tremendous resource. She is a distributor for DecoArt, so go and check her out. So I'm just going to put a float around the outside edge of my tag. I want it to look a little distressed, so I'm not being too neat and tidy about this float. Comme ça. I was trying to decide what I was going to put on that tag. But he's just so stinking cute. So I'm going to take my liner and some black. I'm going to thin out this black so that it moves.
All my bears have their own attitude. Some of their personalities get out of hand some days.
So I'm going to
I have a 44-year-old teddy like him. No tag though.
I'm just going to write Merry Christmas in here
Your videographer keeps you on your toes.
in more ways than you can possibly imagine.
Hey, she's staying in the shot. I'm happy about that. I haven't had to tell her to keep it in the shot.
There, so I've got Merry Christmas.
Love from Santa.
Not room. There's no room for love from Santa.
Merry Christmas.
Christmas. Merry Christmas.
How about hugs to you?
There. So I've got Merry Christmas on. And now I'm thinking it needs spatter because, you know, everything needs to be spattered. I just like spatter.
You didn't use your snowflake stencil.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about the snowflake stencil. Can't have that. So, I mean, see, we had planned to
Keep
do
her on her
this.
toes?
See, keeps me on my toes. So I'm going to use this snowflake stencil that we've been sending out because it's a pretty stencil. It's a very pretty snowflake. And I wanted to put a few in, but now I'm wondering, do I do them so that they glitter? What do you think? I'm thinking. I know what he thinks. I'm not going to even go there.
I know you're not asking me.
I'm not asking you. So we're going to try something fun.
I can't believe you're doing those letters freehand.
Badly, I might add. So I'm going to use,
That's the stencil you guys have been getting.
yeah, I'm going to use the heavy gel medium. I love this stuff. I mean, it's so thick. It's crazy. And I'm going to use a palette knife. And I need some glitter. Yes. Could you reach into my cupboard and get me some glamour dust?
Do I have to touch it?
You do. Kind of have to if you're going to get it out of the
Okay.
cupboard. That one, I think.
This one?
Yep, top shelf,
Top shelf?
left side.
Yeah.
So we're going to use this. Ew, that's gold. I don't want gold.
You don't want gold?
I
You
want-
said glamour dust.
I did, but that's gold glamour dust. I
Yeah.
want the crystal glamour.
So you want what?
Crystal. Maybe it's in this one. Hello.
There's white glitter.
That's the one.
That's the one.
Let me see. No, that's not the one, but that'll do. Okay.
There's another bottle unlabeled.
Oh, that's glamour dust. Thank you. Okay, it's sans label, but you know what it is. It's glamour dust. So we're going to, it's sans label. We're going to use a little of this heavy gel medium. I think that's a bit too much.
Yes, yes, glitter. Yes, glitter. Glitter.
And
Definitely glitter.
I'm going
Do not
to,
glitter his dog again. Yes. Don't glitter my dog.
I'm going to put a thin layer of this gel medium over top of this stencil.
Everybody says yes to glitter. No to glitter. Thank you, Sarah Webley. I have an ally in this. Oh, and
So-
Diana.
And then
I have two allies.
carefully lift the stencil off. So now I have a snowflake. I'm going to move the stencil over to this side.
I'm impressed you know where your supplies are.
My problem is I have too many supplies,
She knows exactly where.
but I do know where everything is.
What is it?
And
Organized chaos.
yes, it's That's a good word for it. And I think one more right here. Now, I have not picked up any more of that heavy gel medium because you really don't need a lot of it.
Is your last live on Boxing Day? Ooh, are you doing a live on Boxing Day?
I don't know. I could.
Actually, pop up the
Yeah.
calendar.
We'll have to have a look. So I've got a thin layer of this over top of that stencil, and now I'm going to carefully remove it. So I have these raised snowflakes on my surface.
Renee is a rare form.
Yes, he is.
I'm loving it.
So now I'm going to take my
husband gets
glamour
mad when I use
dust.
glitter. Hey. Oh, that was Sandy.
So, so I've got a little bit of glamour dust. I'm going to sprinkle that right into that wet, heavy gel medium.
I just have chaos.
Now, if you don't have heavy gel medium, you can use the liquid glass for this. Or you can use modeling paste. Modeling paste just won't be transparent when it dries.
God, look at all that glitter.
Yes, look at it.
Oh,
And then I'm going to sprinkle a little more into this.
he doesn't even like Christmas cards with glitter. No, because it gets everywhere. And then you find it in weird places.
Yeah. So I'm just knocking on this because it's enough to make that glitter seat itself into that gel medium.
I'm sure my dog's not anywhere near you.
Now I'm going to shake this out. Hang on a sec, ladies. I'm going to give it a tap to get rid of the excess. And there we have glittery snowflakes on our teddy bear. The fun part about doing this technique is that when this medium dries, it dries crystal clear. So you just have these lovely, transparent, sparkly snowflakes on your surface. So while that is drying, I'm going to grab my fugly brush, which is my great big encaustic oval, and I'm going to pick up a little bit of warm white on that brush
Holy glitter.
and a fair amount of paint, and I'm going to spatter this. And I'm going to do this with two colors. I'm going to do it first with white, and then I'm going to do it with asphaltum as well. And 20 years ago, we used to call this fly specking.
My daughter, what was it? My daughter-in-law gets mad when I send Christmas cards with glitter on them. I will never make that mistake again.
So there, I've got my white on. Now I'm going to do the same thing with some of that asphaltum.
If they don't want to use loose glitter, is there any other glitter product you can use? Yes.
Yes, absolutely. You can, there's a number of ways you can do this. You can take your favorite varnish and sprinkle a little glitter into that and then brush it on. Or you can use the Galaxy varnish,
Galaxy varnish.
which is my favorite. I love this stuff. Other side. Top shelf, right in the corner. There it is. This stuff is frickety frackin' awesome. I love this stuff. I'm going to show you how to use this in just a second because it is like the bomb. So I'm paying particular attention to the teddy bear with this part and just spattering with a little bit of the asphaltum. And there we have it.
Just glad it didn't transfer to your underwear like you wash a glitter t-shirt.
I feel your pain on that one. So there we have our little teddy bear with the sparkly snowflakes. I love this little guy. I think he's so fun. So fun. So
Showing my hubby how you are the best.
So I was telling you about this Galaxy varnish. I love this stuff. It's
I gotta zoom in.
freaking awesome. So this is a varnish that contains a really great glitter.
Right there.
And I love this stuff for a couple of reasons. One, the glitter in it is fabulous. It's almost holographic, so it sparkles and gives you a whole bunch of different colors, which is great. And the distribution of it is phenomenal. So it's different sizes of glitter and then different colors, so that it literally gives you this really great sparkle. And it's just simply brush it on, let it dry. So I put a coat of this on there. I'm going to dry this real quick. So it does two things. One, it gives you the glitter, and two, it gives you protection. It helps protect your artwork. And I love the glitter in this. It's super sparkly. Almost dry. Not only that, but it makes the colors pop. I love that. It's so great.
Karen's asking where she can get
The
the varnish.
Karen, actually, you'd probably be able to get that at Delta Arts
In Edmonton?
in Edmonton.
There you go.
Yeah. Love, look at this. Look how this stuff sparkles. It has just the best. And one way you turn it, it's gold. Next one, it's blue. Then it's pink. But it has this really great shimmer and sparkle to it. I just love this stuff. This is the best varnish, glitter varnish. The other one they have is the Starlight varnish, if you want it. It's got a super fine, shimmery sparkle to it, which is great. Or you could go to the Enchanted Shimmer. I love that one too.
So there's two there. What brand is your heat gun?
I gotta tell you, my heat gun is more than 20 years old.
So
I kid you not. This one, and I had two of them. I literally cooked one. It literally caught fire. It was so, but it's more than 20 years old. This one came with my Genesis heat set paints, and that's going back a few years.
Is it?
So fantastic heat gun. But Wagner makes a really good handheld one that's this size. That's fantastic. There's some really good ones on the market.
What was that other one there? Mini buffalo check stencil?
A mini buffalo check stencil?
Yeah, they just mini buffalo check stencil question mark.
The only one that I have, well, I have two sizes. I have the 1/2 inch and I have the 1/4. I honestly don't see much of a need for anything smaller, but that's just me.
And does the varnish shed anywhere? No.
No, that's one of the beauties to this, is that no, it does not shed. The glitter does not come off.
There you go.
Love this stuff. Galaxy glitter is another one. You can push that through a stencil. It's thick enough when it comes out of the bottle that you can push it through a stencil.
Is there anything else you wanted to do? Or?
So that is her. Don't forget that pattern is going to have this little guy, and it will also have the pattern for 3 varieties of this little one.
Would an embossing heat gun work?
Yes, it would.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. You don't want something that's going to get that hot. That's the downside to the one I have, is it heats to 400 degrees, which is a bit too hot.
She's
So.
just gotten used to being quick with it.
I've just gotten used to being quick with it. Exactly.
Fugly brush, what size? Love all your projects. Yeah.
My fugly brush, which is that gargantuan thing that I use to spatter with and base coat with and a whole bunch of other things I use it for, this is the 1 inch oval. It's a 1 inch encaustic oval. Love that brush.
Tracy, I have purchased some of your patterns and love them. My first time on here, but I will go to your YouTube site.
Yeah, don't forget, if you're visiting my YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button. It'll notify you when we put up new videos, not just the lives. We do other videos as well.
You haven't done
I haven't done a midweek in a while, but I've been a little occupied with a few other things.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll get back to that during the holidays sometime.
Decor's been giving you lots of work.
Yes, Decor has been keeping me very, very busy.
Yeah, I'll bring the camera up to your face. Oh, there you go.
And that was something I wanted to talk to you guys about. Decwork just implemented a new program. It is called Art for Everyone. And they have the videos on the website as well as on their YouTube channel. But check it out. Look for the Art for Everyone on the Decor website. It's decor.com. And there are
I got that.
tons of new videos. Sandy McTeer and myself have been working along with the team from Deckwart with Tom Schaub and with Kate Cole and a bunch of the other awesome staff members there to develop this new education site. And it launched a couple of weeks ago with soft launch, so we still haven't got everything up on the site yet, but we're working on it. And there will be more and more videos added on a regular basis. So it's exciting. It's exciting about the really cool things that are going up on the new Deckwart website. So check that out, please, and leave some feedback. We'd love to know what you're looking for. There's a variety of different categories. There is everything for art for wellness to fine art, art masters. There's all kinds of stuff coming up, and you're going to love all of it. So yes, we would love some feedback. So be sure to put your comments in, have a good look. Check them out on the YouTube channel and subscribe to the Deckwart website and the Deckwart YouTube channel as well, because there's so much stuff coming up. If you've been wondering why I've been, preoccupied, a little busy, that's why. We've been working on a lot together. Between Sandy McTeer and myself, we have been working very hard to get you some great content up on the new site.
Okay, so
We still have a couple of prizes to give away.
yeah. So what I was thinking is go to the YouTube channel.
Yep.
And on this video, which will be uploaded shortly, hopefully, random comment from that comment section by.
Okay.
What do you want to say?
Say Monday.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to post the videos up on our YouTube channel this afternoon. Should be up there in about an hour or so. Leave a comment in it, hit the subscribe button, and you'll automatically be entered for some of the prizes that we've got sitting here. We still have brushes to give away. We still have mouse pads to give away. We have stencils to give away. And we're looking for your participation.
Yeah.
And to encourage you to do that, we've got some great stuff to give away. And next week, we're going to work on a floral. And it's going to be something elegant, something bold, and I think you're really going to love it. I know I'm excited about it. I've had the line drawing sitting there for so long, and I'm anxious to do this. It's going to be fun. And then for the last one before the Christmas holiday, we're going to play and have a great time, and we're going to have oodles of stuff to give away. So don't forget to hit the subscribe button on my YouTube channel. Don't forget to hit the share button on this video, and leave a comment. Get entered for some more prizes because we do have lots of stuff. And watch for the pattern. Pattern will be out later this afternoon. Mwah! I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching every week. And we're going to keep this up and hopefully have lots of more fun stuff for you to do. Mwah! Love ya. Stay safe.